Welcome back, everybody. Today we'll be doing a versus type video. Two knife models that I like and how they compare against each other, and I'll mention a few other knives that I don't have models of but have handled enough to give a fair assessment of. The knives on the chopping block today are the Opinel No. 9 and the Marbles 9-inch lockback. This thing is an absolute beauty of a knife for $10. This is about $15, so already if you're on a tight budget, the scales tip towards this. Other things to consider. My model, I added the little wire stripper choil there in the lanyard hole. If you buy one of these, it's not going to come with those. This knife does not come with a wire stripper choil, but it does come with lanyard hole. Nice little thing to add to that. Both knives lock. This knife, we have Opinel's famous lock ring that can lock the blade open and closed. Here, the lockback system will only lock the blade open. Now the blade is very secure. That's not going to just come open in your pocket. But if you're wanting absolute security and you don't want the knife to open unless you want the knife to open, get the opinel. Both knives are quite large. Both of them have pretty much the same real estate. This knife has a little bit more belly than this knife, which allows you to do these cuts where you're tipping down and drawing over like that. This knife, you don't have as much of that, and that could be a little bit of an issue, but I do not think so. This knife is just a hair shorter overall when open. Not that that really matters. Once the knife is open, it's pretty much open. Blade lengths, like I said, are about the same. Closed lengths, for if you're carrying these in your pocket, the Marbles knife is a bit bigger. Trying to get these lined up. They're about the same, but the Marbles knife is about another 1/3 of an inch longer than the Opinel. But the Marbles knife, unlike the Opinel, comes with a pretty decent nylon sheath that, as far as nylon sheaths go, is quite good. Quite solid, quite good. If you like to belt carry, that is an option. The Opinel is pretty much a pocket-only carry unless you buy an aftermarket sheath for it, which those do exist. If you're somewhat leather crafty yourself, you can make one for yourself. But right out of the box, you have to put this big knife in your pocket. This big knife can go on your belt. If you want to carry it in a pocket, you can. Nothing wrong with that. But I think also solidity. How solid are these knives in use? And I think with the Marbles knife thicker blade and pretty much non-existent blade wiggle, blade play is opening and closing. How much do you have when the blade locks open? Blade wiggle is how much the blade wiggles side to side when it's opened up. So, no blade play, and next to non-existent blade wiggle. This knife has no blade wiggle, but can have just tiniest little bit of blade play for you people with OCD, which I do have a little bit of OCD, and that does drive me a little bit bonkers. But once that ring is closed, that knife ain't coming closed on you. That thing is tough. That thing is safe. This is a safe knife. The wood patina as well. I think you could get these with plastic, but I'm not sure. But you can get various woods. You can get olive wood, which is absolutely beautiful. This is beech wood. You can get acacia wood, olive wood, oak, I think, and beech. Beech is their most common one. This is just black plastic. It's very solid black plastic. I'm not afraid of this thing breaking on me. But plastic, that does feel appearances, that does look a little cheap. This, however, has more beauty to it. This knife is more elegant. It looks nice, it sits nice. We do have a difference here. The handle, pretty much all the way down to this last little bit there, is perfectly round, which can make it a little hard at times to know which way you've got your edge aligned. When you're cutting something, you could have the edge perfectly aligned. You could have it a little off that way. You could have it a little off that way. Whereas this knife, you know which way the edge is. The handles are flat, and they have nice little finger choils. It just rests in your hand really well. Sorry that most of my videos you're seeing like this part of my hand and not the business end. I need to work on that. This knife, I love this knife. This thing is an absolute beauty. It's a blast. It's wonderful to use. For $15, you cannot go wrong. You can't go wrong with either of these. But for $10, if you're tight on budget, this knife would be the way to go. I think in some ways it does outplay the opinel. But if you like the clip point, if you like the grippier plastic, if you like the lanyard hole, you know, go with this. I'm not telling you which one to buy, I'm just kind of showing you the differences between the two and why you might want to consider one over the other. They're both about the same size. They serve the same, they both lock. They have clip point blades, they have good steel. They're solid. I'd say this one is maybe a hair bit more solid than this one. You know, and, you know, got to add a lanyard hole. I added the little wire stripper there. No wire stripper on this yet, but it does come with a lanyard hole. Depends on how you want to carry your knives. And I think the marbles does come in a few different sizes. I do think they make like 6 inches and stuff, and then you could compare that down to the opinel number 8. You know, find your comparative sizes there and just kind of see which one would look better for you. If you like classy, I would suggest the opinel. If you want hard use speeder, I'd say go Marble's 9-inch folder. It's a hard decision to make in the knife world. Like, you see all these wonderful knives and it's like, well, which one do I want? You know, technically if you don't do the choil thing there at the bottom, you've got more blade than this knife. The opinel has more blade than the Marble's knife. But add the choil for wire stripping, and now the Marble's comes in the lead. But thank you for showing up for this video. I hope you found it somewhat informative and somewhat useful. If not, comment your questions down below and I'll try to answer them. Until then, till the next video, farewell. Bye-bye.